Y'all, I promise. I did not want to start off Monday like this. I didn't have plans to go in this direction. I wanted to be the not I don't want to say the politically correct crocky, but just come in with a level mind and no, Eric, they're not gonna do it this way and this how but forget all that. I'm gonna give my takes, man. Y'all know what it is. It's San Francisco 49ers morning show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Wagner. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and NFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And y'all know what it is, man. We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers and their loss to the previously 3-8 Seattle Seahawks. And I can't say that this is a big surprise. I think most of us, they're the boogeyman, right? The Seattle Seahawks are the boogeyman. And initially, I watched the game, and I'm just like, damn. And you see things that happen throughout the game, and you're just like, damn. And then you see the last drive, and it's like, okay, we have a chance to right all those wrongs. And it ends like, damn. But I still want to come in, I want to come in and be positive and, okay, let's look at it from this perspective. Y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I come in. But I had more time to think about it, and I was dropping my kids off at school, and I'm like, forget all that, Crocky. Like, tell them how you really feel. Tell them how you really feel. So I'm going to get into how I really feel. Before I do that, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, listen to the Locked On 49ers episode with myself, Brian Peacock. We talk about the game. Also, Locked On NFL Draft just dropped a new episode. Talk about, cornerback Sauce Gardner. 49ers might be interested come draft time. Promo code Crocky with Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com. Make sure you guys download the app or go to the website. Use promo code Crocky and get in on the live action, man. Betting on these over-unders with player props and things like that. They also have best ball format with, fantasy, football, baseball, basketball, all that good stuff. All right, so Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys download the app, check that out. And, of course, this show is sponsored and powered by Manscape. All right, and today is Manscape Monday. There is no better way to start your Monday. I'm telling y'all, when you do Manscaped, I mean, I've been doing it for years now. It takes your, you know what I'm saying? When I perform a little different when I've been Manscaping when I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It's just the porno Crocky kicks in. All right, so Manscaped Monday, man. Right now they got the Performance Pack 4.0. Go get that right now. Use the promo code Crocky. You'll get an extra 20% off of your order. Manscaped.com. All right, guys, let's get into it. Again, I didn't. And today is QB Monday, so Greg Pinelli will be joining, and we'll be hearing his. He's coming in hot too, I think, from a different perspective. So I'm coming in hot. I'm talking Jimmy G. This was not in my notes. My notes were 49ers lose, fake punt for a touchdown, 49ers shot themselves, secondary issues. Emmanuel Mosley hurt, Russell Wilson. He was throwing shorter. He was efficient, 30 or 37. Those were my notes. All right, and we'll get into some of that. And also, I'm gonna get to y'all, talking. Y'all know how we do. But for right now, man, fuck all that. We talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and really just what it is, the situation. All right. Now we done talked about it. We done talked about how we've gotten to this point. I've talked about what I would have done, and I'm gonna revisit some of that. I put out a tweet yesterday, and my tweet said 49ers could be 6-6 with Trey Lance. Right? Like, now that's a very hindsight tweet. Very hindsight. If Kyle Shanahan knew 12 games in that he would be 6-6, he would have got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and stuck with Trey Lance from the jump. If you would have told him, Kyle, you're going to be 6-6, 12 games in, 13 weeks in, 6-6, he'd be like, all right, I might as well just get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and do that with Trey Lance. He would tell you that. When you go with Jimmy Garoppolo, which they have, the expectations were not 6-6 to start the season. That was not the expectations. The expectations when starting Jimmy Garoppolo was potential Super Bowl run, be a strong team in the NFC. Like that's the goal. You don't start Jimmy Garoppolo over your third overall pick to go 6-6. Again, This is a very hindsight take. Turn my, you know what I'm saying, got the phones going off and stuff like that. Very hindsight take. All right. So I understand that. Now, when I tweeted this out yesterday, and I'll pull up the tweet because I think the way I came in and the way I said it, we're going to get into it, and we're going to get into why this topic, why it's called Bench Jimmy Garoppolo. All right. We're going to get into all that. Let me find my tweet. Here it goes. Boom. All right. Got it right here. Go to StreamYard, share. All right. So this tweet is not to say that, and I have the tweet up now. All right. This tweet is not to say that the 49ers would be 6-6 or better with Trey Lance. But really what I'm saying is, and my brother hit the nail on the head. Let's go to what my brother said. My brother hit the nail on the head. Because a lot of fans, I think we look at everything so literally, right? It's like, it's got to be pinpoint. And there are a lot of people like, how do you know that? No, blah, blah, blah. You're reaching. So my brother responded. Let me find my big brother's response. My big brother, you know, every once in a while, your big brother got to come to the rescue. My brother's also a Dallas Cowboy fan. Damn, I'm reading all these things, but I can't find. Let me just type in my brother's name. My brother is also a Dallas Cowboy fan. So he hates the 49ers and actually wants to see the 49ers lose. And also somebody that would say, well, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo is not ready. Matter of fact, he put this tweet out right here of Russell Wilson. Like, he's happy the 49ers lost. All right. But let's look at what my brother said. And it's like, I don't understand how people don't understand this. Here we go. It says right here. This guy said, that's a reach, fam. My brother said, where's the reach? He's saying y'all sorry. Y'all could be sorry and be developing your first round pick. Y'all gave up all the real estate for it. Call me Eric's brother, but that sounds like common sense to me. And it is common sense. It is common sense for my big brother. He gets it. He gets it. Listen, I'm not saying that Trey Lance today is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to start the season he was better. I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't give you a better chance to win. But I am saying it is time to bench Jimmy Garoppolo. And here's why. Again, the expectations for Jimmy Garoppolo starting were not 6-6. So now you're here. And I get it. The only thing they're kind of holding on to is, well, we can still make the playoffs. You're sorry. You're sorry because it is. You need everything to go right. Everything to go right to win. And right now, what I'm seeing from the 49ers is more times than not, everything's not going to go right. More times than not, a run game is not going to be perfect. More times than not, the secondary is not going to be perfect. More times than not, you're going to have these ups and downs because the team ain't perfect. More times than not, the special teams is going to suck. We've seen that. We see that on a consistent basis, right? So every loss isn't Jimmy Garoppolo's fault. Every win isn't because of Jimmy Garoppolo. But I know one thing. He's just kind of a piece to the puzzle that needs things to go perfect for him to be good. And again, I want to keep coming back to this. I believe the 49ers have a better chance to win with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not saying that Trey Lance is going to come in and be better. But I will say this. They have a couple common opponents now. Trey Lance has played twice now, right? He played the second half against the Seattle Seahawks. He played against the Arizona Cardinals. Jimmy Garoppolo played against the Arizona Cardinals. Jimmy Garoppolo also played against the Seattle Seahawks. I would say this. So now they have common opponents. You look at Jimmy Garoppolo and his start against the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers defense in that game forced 5 straight 3-and-outs. That is excellent. And at the end of the first half, the score was 7-7, and Jimmy Garoppolo did not come back. Now, I remember saying, man, I believe Jimmy Garoppolo would win that game. I believe Jimmy would have scored points in that second half, and the 49ers would have won if Jimmy Garoppolo were playing and not Trey Lance, who came in off the bench. They didn't prepare for him. They didn't do anything to get him ready for that moment. They didn't have no game plan. They didn't have no direction. They had nothing for Trey Lance. So I felt like Jimmy would have won that game. That's how I felt. But now I'm not so sure because the 49ers were up 23-14 with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. And guess what? They scored 0 more points. The 49ers scored 0 points in the second half. It's not all on Jimmy, but he definitely has a hand in it. He definitely threw 2 interceptions. He definitely threw 2 terrible interceptions. We could talk about Trey Lance not being ready. We could talk about he can't read this, he can't read that. Who gives a fuck if your starting quarterback, who you're saying is supposed to be ready and know how to do all these things and not make rookie mistakes, comes in and is throwing it right to the defense? Again, I don't want to overreact because the 3 previous weeks, 49ers did win with Jimmy Garoppolo. But also, it wasn't Jimmy, right? We're talking about a game where everything had to be perfect. He had to run the ball 40 plus times. That's the recipe. We're handling Jimmy Garoppolo with kitty gloves. You're handling Jimmy with kitty gloves and saying he gives you the best chance. Why not just handle your rookie with kitty gloves? If it takes 40 carries for you to win with Jimmy Garoppolo, that's you're handling him with kitty gloves. You might as well go with the rookie. Now again, stuff will look different. I get that. So let's talk about how it looked different. Again, I talked about how they had 2 common opponents. The way that they lost those games looked different. But guess what? You got the same fucking results. A loss. You know what I'm saying? You got the same results. A loss. So the 49ers lost to the Seahawks. When Trey Lance came in and basically the score was 0-0, he ended up losing by a touchdown. Right? Scored 2 touchdowns in the second half, ended up losing by a touchdown. Only played a half, scored 2 touchdowns. But you lose by a touchdown. Now, again, you can blame some of the same things. Special teams. What the hell is Cannon doing? Cannon fumbled a kickoff return. Turn, whatever the case is. You can say some of the same things for why they lost that game. Cannon was terrible on kickoff return, special teams, poor, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, they lost by 7 points. What they lose to Seattle this time? 7 points, and Jimmy played the whole time. You played Seattle, you played the Arizona Cardinals, right? Regardless of how they lost to the Arizona Cardinals, they had the same results. And actually, Trey Lance was more competitive against the Arizona Cardinals. He was more competitive. So again, when I say you'll be 6-6, what I'm saying is your team is not that good. You need a lot of things to go your way. You got to run the ball 40 plus times. You're 6-6. In any other year, Jimmy would have been cut. I mean, not cut, excuse me. Jimmy would have been benched because, well, we're pretty much out of the playoff race. We're 6-6. Let's go with the rookie. The only thing that's saving Jimmy right now is that there's still a potential shot for the playoffs. 49 is 7th seed right now. You can't. Okay, here we go. Ooh, I was waiting for something like this. Nah, Croc, contacts matter. No, results matter. Results matter. You can use context. You can use all whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, the results are the results. The 49ers are 6-6. That's the results. You can use context every step of the way. I'll tell you this. Let's use context here. Kyle Shanahan has mismanaged the whole Jimmy Garoppolo situation from the time they had a chance to get Tom Brady. And again, now context matters with this. I can tell you why he did everything. I can tell you why he went with Jimmy Garoppolo to start this season. I can tell you why he went with Jimmy Garoppolo over Tom Brady. I can tell you all the reasons. But at the end of the day, Kyle Shanahan miscalculated the situation. Then Tom Brady, by the way, leading the NFL on passing touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? He miscalculated the situation. Then when he miscalculated the situation with Jimmy Garoppolo starting right now, because he did not expect the team to be 6-6 with Jimmy Garoppolo as a starting quarterback. That was not the goal. That was not the expectations. That was not what he was thinking. He miscalculated the situation. Maybe he felt like his team wouldn't have these other hiccups. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the only reason for losses or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, you are 6-6. We can use context every step of the way. But at the end of the day, that's the results. That's the results. How you justify Norman's play to Croc? I'm actually rooting for him to succeed. It's just apparent that he's a liability. He's been a liability. Josh Norman has been somebody that's he came off the bench, he came off the couch, whatever it is, and he wasn't never supposed to be a starter. I look at him through that lens. He wasn't supposed to be on nobody's roster. You're supposed to have Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley. You're good there. You drafted 2 guys to potentially come in and replace. Ambry Thomas ain't ready, so you have to go out and get a guy like Josh Norman, who is not good like that. But the only thing I've said is, even though he's not that good, right? He still impacts the game with potential forced fumbles. That's the only positive I could take out of somebody that came off the couch. If you can do better than them, do better than them. Clearly you can't. Y'all calling for Diamador Lenore, and he came in and he didn't do well. And then everybody on my timeline and my feed, all I see is Lenore sucks, Lenore sucks, Lenore sucks, get him out, Lenore sucks. Y'all was just caping for him this whole time. Get him in over Josh Norman. Like, and that was my thing. If you're gonna get beat the way Lenore did, at least force a fumble here and there. That was my whole thing. Never said Josh Norman was good. That was what I was saying. Winners are born. Jimmy in the moment chokes, and moments his shoulders chokes. You can't teach that. I will say this. I've seen Jimmy in moments, in key moments, lead touchdown drives, do well, be efficient. I did salute Jimmy Garoppolo for playing like shit most of the game. 49 scored 0 points in the second half. Your quarterback has to be a big part of that. But I salute him for, even when things weren't going well, even though he's playing like crap, even though he threw 2 interceptions, he said, you know what? Let me like have short-term memory, put all that behind me, and go out and potentially try to win this game. And I salute Jimmy Garoppolo for that last drive. I thought that was, he put the 49ers in position to win. I hate that I'm not even touching on this game because there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I had to come in and kind of get that off my chest. 49ers should start Trey Lance. And it's not that I'm trying to overreact to the situation. Again, it's not that I'm saying that he gives the 49ers the best chance to win. I'm not saying that. At the end of the day, 49ers aren't a good team. And more times than not, you're going to have these weird moments. This really reminds me a lot of the Baltimore Ravens in whatever was it, 2018, 2019, when Lamar Jackson came in. It was a similar situation. Similar, very similar. A quarterback who wasn't quite ready. But you know what? We're going to do things that, put him in position to win games. He went to the playoffs. He got destroyed. You know what I'm saying? But I do think down the line, Lamar Jackson was better for that. They didn't have to go away from Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl. He was probably a Super Bowl MVP in that game. Joe Flacco went to multiple playoff appearances. Joe Flacco had been this whole time he'd been a Raven. They didn't have to bench Joe Flacco when they did for rookie Lamar Jackson, but they did because it was time. We're not better with him. So we're going to live with whatever the results are with this guy, Lamar Jackson, who isn't quite what people call ready. But at the end of the day, if my veteran is going to make rookie mistakes, I might as well go with the rookie and develop him, the guy with the higher upside, the guy who's now won NFL MVP, and only 2 quarterbacks have a higher win. I think 1 quarterback has a higher winning percentage since he become the starter. I'm not saying Trey Lance is going to be Lamar Jackson, but what I'm saying is similar situations. You're not doing anything with Jimmy Garoppolo. You need everything to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, then we're going to point to all these other things. But at the end of the day, the results are the results. You're 6-6. You're wasting time, live reps with your rookie. You could have Trey Lance come in and overthrow guys and throw multiple interceptions in a game. You could have Trey Lance do that. You're 6-6. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. It's time now. It's time to start Trey Lance. It's time to get him in the game. It's time to get him those reps. It's time to build for the future. You're 6-6. You're not really a good team. So you need to chalk it up as if, okay, if we make the playoffs, great. But we have enough here to see and know exactly what the 49ers are. And right now, they need a lot to go their way to win. They need to be able to run the ball 40 times. And that's with the guy that's the veteran and $27 million, they're handling him with kitty gloves. I justify Jimmy Garoppolo every week. Every week. I tell y'all why. Okay, like, nah, but guys, you guys, but listen, we know who Jimmy Garoppolo is. Like, okay, but, he gave you a chance. Oh, they didn't lose the Cardinals game because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Every week I justify anything Jimmy Garoppolo, good or bad. Even when everybody in my mentions are saying, they're not winning these games because Jimmy Garoppolo run the ball 40 times. Yeah, but Jimmy Garoppolo made this throw and he did this. I justify it every week. I'm done justifying. What are we doing? What are we doing? I wanted to come on and really talk about the game, but obviously this went in a different direction than I expected. 49ers, they did lose 23-30 to the Seattle Seahawks. And I think coming away from that, 49ers are kind of just an average team. Uh, fake punt for Seattle definitely, set the tone in the direction that they were going in. They were going to throw the kitchen sink at this and do everything desperate. In the desperate, they did a good job. Jimmy Garoppolo had to settle down. I thought early on he came out a little high. High, like obviously we saw some of the throws, the overthrows and things like that, but I thought he came out a little amped up and he had to settle down. Missed Kyle Juszczyk on the ball side. You can't miss that. Again, we could talk about rookie mistakes and throws that Trey Lance misses, or Trey misses this and misses that. Your starting quarterback misses throws to Jimmy Garoppolo. Secondary issues, Emmanuel Mosley went down. We'll see what it is. I think if I had to guess, I would say potential high ankle sprain. I don't want to wish that on him, but just me kind of understanding, ankle sprains, typically when you sprain your ankle in a game, the adrenaline allows you to kind of push through that. You probably tape it up, wrap it up. Adrenaline gets you pushed through. You come out the game at the end, when the game's over, ankle kind of swollen or whatever. But high ankle sprain, you're typically not able to finish. And that was what happened with Emmanuel Mosley. So wouldn't be surprised if it's a high ankle sprain for Mosley. You had some secondary issues with coverage. Obviously, Delamidor Lenore, short time, gave up 2 touchdowns. They benched him, brought in Dante Johnson. Josh Norman got beat, for sure. I did think that 1 touchdown to Tyler Lockett, that was a terrific throw. Good job. Tyler Lockett's really good. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That was a good job by Tyler Lockett, getting on top. Perfect throw over the shoulder, away from the defensive back from Russell Wilson. That was tough. But Josh Norman, he was kind of what he's been. I expect that. He just didn't force the fumble. Plays are going to happen. I think the biggest disappointment, because the secondary gave up 230 yards, not anything crazy, but just the efficiency. And I thought maybe they changed up a little bit of what Russell Wilson did. They kind of threw a little bit more short stuff. I thought he was really efficient with that. When you hear Russell Wilson complete 30 passes, I don't think you think 230 yards. You think probably like 320. So they did a good job of kind of keeping some things underneath. 49ers defense did a really good job of forcing turnovers. They gave the 49ers an opportunity to win. Good job, Al Shire. He feeling really good for our guy, Fred Warner. He feeling really good. At the end of the day, man, like, again, I came on talking about Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think right now what we're seeing is, and obviously Trey Lance hasn't had opportunities to play against, I don't know, Jacksonville Jaguars or Chicago Bears or, Detroit Lions, games like that where you're supposed to win, and 49ers did win those games that could probably contribute to your young guy, Philadelphia Eagles, young guy getting wins and building his confidence and all that stuff. I know they didn't get a chance to do that. But I think right now what I'm seeing is it looks different, but you get the same results with either quarterback. It just looks different. All right, here we go. I'm going to bring y'all on. Again, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, I usually don't go on rants like this. I usually don't say things like bench Jimmy Garoppolo. But right now, I don't see what the payoff is with him. If you miss the playoffs, if you are Kyle and you miss the playoffs, come on, man. And you didn't play your rookie, but you played Jimmy Garoppolo because he's supposed to, do all this, that, and the other. And you, come on, man. But here's a chat. Y'all feel free. Come on live. If you're over on Twitter, come on over from Twitter to YouTube. I do have it. I have the YouTube link pinned in my on my Twitter account at Eric_Crocker. Come on live. Talk about it. So it's not just me. I don't want it to just be me and I'm going on a rant and I'm upset. Again, I usually am the one to not overreact in situations like this. And I tell y'all all the time, well, guys, because, this and that. And, well, this is why. I come on and I try to be kind of that, the calm. But right now, where I'm at with it is 6-6. Definitely was not the expectation. All right, got my guy Jedi coming on first. Here we go. Put my headset on real quick. Yo, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All
I hear an echo there.
Oh, okay. That's my speaker turned up. Turn that down. Is it good now?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, I can still hear me in the background. We'll deal
So
with it. We'll deal with it.
yeah,
Go
all right.
ahead.
So I'll make it quick. Everything you said, Croc, was right. I'm proud of you, man. I want you to get it out more often. You're venting for me, so I don't have to vent. I can just listen to you and just keep cussing. You're helping me. You're helping me get through the day. You're saying all the points. You're hitting all the points. I don't have to say anything. You said it. I mean, you said if everything isn't perfect, this is who Jimmy Garoppolo is. That's right. You also said that, what are we doing? We could have had the young kid, you had Philly, you had Detroit early in the season. You had the teams, the first two teams built for him to come into the league with. It was perfect setup for him. It was perfect setup for him. You had a potential Owen whatever team your first game. So he could have probably pulled it out and been, down the road by now. So everyone, I mean, Croc, you're doing a great job. You know how people do when they get to Jimmy, they're going to protect him like, they know him or they've been around him before. But this is a cutthroat business. It's business. And this is about facts of what you produce, not about what the potential you have or what you did 2019. What are you doing right now? What can you do for our future? And what I see is what you pretty much laid out is Jimmy has limitations. He has a bar. He has a ceiling that he can't go past. And we have something right now on the bench. We have no idea what it can do. We have no idea. We know that its bar is probably more likely higher than the current quarterback, but we don't know how high. It could be extremely high. But we're too scared. Well, the coaching staff, quote unquote, feels like they are a better place for a playoff, quote unquote, run with the current guy. And I just don't think that was the way to be thinking. And I know you've been touching on it. I'm proud of you. Keep the cussing. Keep the good work up, bro.
All right. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. Let's get to the next caller. And again, I see some of my comments. I see it a little bit on Twitter, and it's like overreaction. And it's like, at what point is it not an overreaction when your team is 6-6? You know what I'm saying? At what point is it like, okay, this kind of is the situation? At what point is it like, yeah, Kyle did kind of miscalculate the situation? Again, this is not me saying that Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance is better than Jimmy Garoppolo right now. I'm not saying that Trey Lance gives your team a better chance to win than Jimmy Garoppolo. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, right now, you are 6-6. And because of the things that you need to go your way with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, you're likely going to lose the games for outside reasons. And if you're going to lose, you're better off getting those reps with your young guy and him potentially still winning games. And you look at the schedule down the stretch, and I'm going to get to the next callers in a second. Let's look at the 49ers schedule real quick. All right, because it's not anything crazy. So if you are trying to, okay, we want to build some confidence in our young guy. All right, let's look at the schedule for the 49ers coming up. You got the Bengals, okay. Then you got Atlanta, Tennessee, Houston, and then LA. I think those are good. That's a good time to get your young guy going. Cincy, Atlanta, Tennessee, Houston, and LA. By that time, they might be locked into the 5th seed and probably won't even play their starters. I think there's an opportunity there for 49ers to get the young guy in there. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Again, I don't want this to be an overreaction in the sense of because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Ultimately, it is because he is who he is. But it's the situation. It's the situation. All right. Here we go. Let's get to the next caller. My guy, Rich. Rich, what's good, man? How you doing? Good morning. Rich, you got to come off mute.
My bad. What's up, Crocky?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good. So this loss is very frustrating, but I just wanted to mention something because we're obviously the whole topic of Trey and Jimmy is coming back up, and I think one of the questions was asked about a top 3 quarterback and whether they've ever sat for an entire season. And I know that you had mentioned Carson Palmer, so I actually went back and did some research. Since 1980, there's been 38 quarterbacks taken in the top 3 picks of the draft. Out of those 38 quarterbacks, only 4 have either sat or played 2 games or less. That was Steve McNair, Michael Vick actually sat for a year, Carson Palmer, and oh man, I'm losing the 4th one. Oh, Jamarcus Russell. Now, in spite of that, the precedent that's being set by the Niners is that each of those 4 organizations that drafted those quarterbacks didn't give up anything to move up into their slots. The 49ers moved up to the number 3 spot and gave up future draft capital to do it. And it would set a bad precedent to do this, because you're not just setting Trey Lance back a year, you're basically setting your organization back a year, because now they don't have any draft capital to cover any needs for the next 2 years. We see where Seattle's at. They've got Russell Wilson, who's way better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but eventually not having that draft capital catches up to you. They only had, I think 3 or 4 draft picks last year, the Seahawks. They don't have anybody to cover the holes on the team. And it's very frustrating that they wouldn't just put in Trey Lance to start and give him the experience that he needs, so that even if this team loses, gaining that experience for a year is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't understand where this organization's going and why they're doing the things that they're doing. It makes no sense, not only from a logical standpoint, but just from the eye test. Jimmy Garoppolo has been the same quarterback throughout his entire career, and it doesn't seem like he cares to change it all, which is very frustrating. So, I don't know. I don't know. I just thought I'd put that out there because, it just, to me, it sets a bad precedent.
Yeah, I hear you. And
thank you for your time, man, and look forward to listening to the rest of your show.
All right, Rich, appreciate you coming on. I hear him. And again, if you guys go back on this YouTube channel to the very beginning, there was a point where I was like, and this before the season started, I would not have Jimmy Garoppolo on this roster. I would go with my rookie. Now, there are a couple things that kind of play into that. All right, now let's bring the context. Oh, and for my reasoning, all right, then I'll talk about why, maybe why they stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo. My reasoning was if you get Trey Lance to be as close to as what his ceiling is or whatever, your chances of being a very dominant team are better, right? If we get him right, when you drafted Trey Lance, all right, let's put it this way. When you drafted Trey Lance, number 3 overall, you said, you know what? We're drafting this really smart, intelligent, hardworking quarterback with a big arm, athletic, and he fits the mold of, a quarterback that brings us just different dynamic, right? Can make the throws at all levels of the field. So that's why you drafted Trey Lance number 3 overall. He has that type of ability, and you like what the upside of it, right? So Trey Lance comes in and plays, and he shows you, and you guys can't. And we've gone through this. Everything that you thought Trey Lance would be when you drafted him, he has been that in every sense of that, right? He has been the big arm, athletic, being able to throw to all levels of the field, mobile quarterback who can make plays off script, all that stuff, right? Now, he also has shown you the other side of, man, I need reps. I am still very young, right? In the sense of just his experience and some of the mistakes. So that the rookie mistakes are coming. I do want to know what's the difference between a rookie mistake from Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo overthrowing multiple receivers and missing wide open guys. Somebody please let me know what the difference is. But I understood, okay, he is who we thought. Now we just got to bring him along, right? We got to get him. What's the best way to bring Trey Lance along? That's the question, right? It's not even. He's shown us everything that you need to see from the number 3 overall pick. What you want him to be. He has shown to be able to be that. Like he has shown the ability. I haven't seen him look like, oh man, like this is different, or I don't know. It was everything that I'm like, okay, and then okay, I can see this. Okay, I can see why he missed that throw. Okay, yeah, he bounces up and down. Okay, I listen to JT O'Sullivan. Okay, I see what he's saying. Okay, I see some of those issues. All right, well, how do we improve on that? All right, but from the standpoint of what I'm getting and what my confidence is that he'll potentially be that high. All right, so I would have went with him and said, you know what? The closer I get him to his ceiling, the better this team is going to be in a real playoff run. Not a playoff run where you have to run the ball 40 times a game to save your quarterback that's been there over 4 years. Not that, you know what I'm saying? Like, not that type of playoff run. I mean, that playoff run where your quarterback is dominant. How do we get him to be that? And it might not be this year. So you're going to go through ups and downs this year. But can I get him close to being that next year? Because I know what? Next year, Jimmy Garoppolo's not going to be on the team. So would I sacrifice a win here and there potentially, or, have a loss here and there that maybe Jimmy Garoppolo would have won that game? But, that was my thought process. At the end of the day, right now, you're 6-6, so you might as well did it. That's a hindsight take, though. Why they stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo? Maybe they didn't like the trade offers that they got. Maybe they felt like he was more valuable than a 5th-round pick, keeping him. I would have said, I think it's more valuable getting your 3rd overall pick. Those reps, that time, that ability to grow, the ups and downs, and rolling over that $25 million from Jimmy Garoppolo the next year. So now you take the $25 million that he got this year. We let him go. We traded him. So we get to move that to the following year. Let's roll that over, right? And also let's add that to the the 25 that we save next year. So that's another $25 million. So now we're talking about $50 million. Right, to go towards building around this young guy. And then, you know what, let's add the $26 million increase in the salary cap that news just came out, yesterday or the day before. So now we're talking about $75 million more to pour into your team for a quarterback that now has a bunch of experience, and he's better suited next year for a big time playoff push, right? Now, will it be perfect? Maybe not, still. But you'll be better for it next year than you will without playing them. That was my thought process the whole time. They went with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I understood it. Gave you a better chance to win. I get it. Kyle Shanahan won winning season in 4 years. He didn't have time to play with losing games. I get it. But you're still 6-6. Here we go. Bringing my dog Darius on. Darius, what's good, man? Hi. Oh, hold on one second. There was there were 2 things I want to get to. Hold on 1 second. So I saw some people say that the 49ers, they didn't think that the 49ers needed to. I didn't think they had to move up to draft Trey Lance. Okay. I saw somebody else say this too. From what I'm hearing, I'm not an insider or anything like that, but I follow a couple of people. And there's one person I will say, this guy is usually spot on. His name is Benjamin Albright. He actually covers the Broncos. But he's pretty tapped in with stuff. Pretty tapped in for whatever reason. I don't know why. And again, I'm not going to say that these people are always right and stuff like that. But I know one thing. Benjamin Albright has been right on a lot of occasions. Whenever I see him tweet something out, it's usually you see him, he posted tweets and stuff like that. He said that Atlanta Falcons were taking Trey Lance. The Atlanta Falcons were going to draft Trey Lance. There was a lot of buzz about that. He said that after the fact. Somebody had said that a few weeks into the season. Oh, blah, blah. He said Trey Lance wasn't getting past the Falcons. If Benjamin Albright says, I don't take everything everybody says, serious. But if Albright says it, he's been right on more than enough things with all these different situations and what he's hearing. I believe Albright. And it's not like that was the first time we heard that. We've heard that throughout the offseason that the Atlanta Falcons really like Trey Lance. Albright says he wasn't getting past Atlanta. So there's that. I don't. So would it be would he have, would they have? I don't know, but I know that's what Albright said, and Albright he be right a lot. I've always been supportive of number 10. No more. I'm sure Trey can dink and dunk. Like now, listen. This is the thing, and I appreciate the contribution. I don't think there's anything wrong with supporting 10, Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think that. Again, I don't want to be the person to say, well, Trey Lance could come and he could dink and dunk and things like that. Maybe he's not. He's not as efficient of a passer as Jimmy Garoppolo. So what I'm saying is, if you lose a game with Jimmy as opposed to Trey Lance, it looks different. Their execution might be a little different. The reason why you lost might be different. But at the end of the day, you still lost. You're still 6-6. That's my thinking behind it. Appreciate the contribution. All right, here we go. So, my bad, Darius. Go ahead, man. Had to address those real quick.
It's all good, man. I love GM Crocky, man. You've been telling nothing but facts, bro. And the prior callers, they was hitting on the money too. And this is coming from a guy that I was on record 2017. I said Jimmy Garoppolo was the best quarterback in the NFL, man. And my cousin would not let me down. My cousin is a Dallas Cowboy, and he would not let me live that down, man. Like, and I regret I ever said it, bro. And it's time, man, to just let the kid play. It's like, when we're winning games the past 3 weeks, it's like you're waiting. It sucks because you're waiting, you're anticipating the fall. Like you know it's coming, you don't know when. And I feel like maybe the energy would have been a little bit different if we would have lost to the Bengals. But it's the fact that we lost to our number one rivals, and they're a sinking ship, but they still managed to knock us over. And you look at Jimmy, bro, and it's like, even when he's winning games, he looks bad. I'm sorry, it's just true. It's like, even when he's winning games, man, it just doesn't look like a comfortable quarterback in that pocket, man. And I got a partner that's from Pittsburgh, and he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, all the good stuff. And I told him, I said, yeah, man, we're trying to give y'all Jimmy for a little bit of nothing, man. And he was like, no, we don't want Jimmy. And I started laughing. He was like, yeah, he doesn't know what to do in the pocket. He holds the ball and he doesn't know what to do with it. And like, that's kind of like probably the census around the whole league, or as far as fans feel, they probably all know that about Jimmy. You know what I mean? 'Cause it kind of I ain't gonna say it shocked me, but I didn't expect him to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know people really pay attention to Jimmy like that. And
they do. And no, this is not a like, he's not the only one that feels that way. If you take a poll, just fan base poll, do you like Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you not like Jimmy Garoppolo? You'll probably get 20% people that like Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe. I mean, and that's outside of 49er fan base. Mm-hmm. They always like nobody. Anytime I tweet out anything about Jimmy Garoppolo, the negative, the backlash from these other fan bases, I'm like, damn, he's not nearly as bad as y'all make him seem. But nobody else thinks highly of Jimmy Garoppolo. I feel like I'm the one, like, damn, why I always feel like I gotta defend Jimmy. I defend Jimmy a lot. I know this title of this show is Bench Jimmy Garoppolo. I defend Jimmy Garoppolo a lot. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. But my brother's a Cowboy fan. My brother is a Cowboy fan. So I understand when you talk about my brother, like, he laughs at Jimmy Garoppolo too. So I get what you're saying. Like, oh my God, bro. And it's like everybody knows you have to have a running back that's going to run 50 times. And oh my gosh, man, the dink and dunk passes, and he misses those. And that's what's frustrating. It's like, okay, fine, you can't throw it deep, but you're telling me you can't make this 5-yard connection, man. This dude's wide open in front of you, waving his hand in the air. Like, and I don't know. We could talk all day about Jim and how bad he is. I just feel like Kyle and them, they were so irresponsible with this season, and it's all playing out how it's supposed to, bro. Like, we got a saying, man, when you play bad hands, or when you play bad in cards, you get bad hands. They fumbled this way back in the summer, and it just is what it is. It is what it is, man. And like, everybody wanted to blame Josh Norman. Like, get out of here with that. Like, it was beyond Josh Norman, man. And I do think that it, in a way, was beyond Jimmy Garoppolo.
Just one little touchdown he gave up when the
right. And again, I do think it's
the injuries.
It's not just him. It's beyond Jimmy. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you're getting the same results. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the part people are kind of missing with my statement.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying that Trey Lance is better. I'm not saying Trey Lance gives you a better chance. But there are just a lot of things that go on in the game that, at the end of the day, the 49ers are who they are, and they are a 6-6 team. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's because of Jimmy Garoppolo, whether it's not, that's the results. You're not who you thought you are. So there comes a time where it's like, if you're going to lose games, if you don't make the playoffs, and the NFC is trash this year, but if you don't make the playoffs and you start Jimmy the whole time, it was a waste. If you do make the playoffs, but because you're a bad team, you get bounced out right away. It's still a waste, and it's still sad Trey Lance. But all right, I'm gonna get the next caller on. I appreciate you coming on, Darius.
Right.
All right, appreciate my dog coming on. If you haven't already, man, if you guys, and I know some of y'all new people like, man, I don't like this show. He being angry today. Typically not me. I'm typically calm, cool, collected, and I just sit and listen and stuff. But if you do like the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Underdog Fantasy, make sure you guys download the app, Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com, promo code Crocky. All right, Manscape, it is Manscape Monday. Today's the perfect day to, get all your body parts right, hair, whether it's your nostrils to toes and everything in between. And y'all know my saying, man, stop walking around looking crazy, go get sexy for your lady. You want to improve the, the happiness in the bedroom? Do a little manscaping. I'm telling you, it's going to start making you act different. When I get done with the manscaping and, it's time to get down, Porno Crocky comes out. You know what I'm saying? It's the manscaping, man. So manscape.com, promo code Crocky. Go get 20% off of your order right now. Here we go. Got my guy Bradley coming on. Bradley, what's good with you, big dog?
Hey, sir. I just had to, first I want to say thanks to you guys last night and JB for being on so that I could vent because I was pretty pissed off last night. And, I just wanted to say thank you to them, first of all. And my thing is, like, I'm just sick and tired of this inconsistent bull crap. Like, it's just the same thing over and over again. It's either inconsistency with Kyle in the second half with his play calling, or it's Jimmy Garoppolo with his high throws. And like one of your last callers said, we give up so much for Trey Lance, and that's our future. I feel like Kyle Shanahan is messing up our future. I understand a lot of people think that we should, keep him on the bench and let him learn, but I feel like he should be learning during the games. Because sitting on the sidelines, when I see him, whenever they put the camera on Trey Lance's face, I swear to God, his whole entire demeanor in the offseason, he looked like a boss. He was happy. He was in Vegas with Kittle. He bought a chain, he just looked confident. And then after the Cardinals game, whenever they show him on the sidelines, it just looks like he is just completely different. It doesn't look like he has that swagger. Doesn't look like he has that confidence. And it's just something I think Kyle Shanahan does to a lot of his guys. He just I feel like he mentally bashes them. Like, oh, you need to be doing this. You're not good enough at this. And I feel like the process in which Kyle Shanahan's approaching Trey Lance, I think it's screwing up our future. Who cares about a draft pick for Jimmy Garoppolo? We're not hitting on early draft picks anyways. If we're getting draft picks for Jimmy Garoppolo, I hope it's 4 freaking fourth rounders, not a second rounder or a first, because then we'll get 3 starters. Like that's what I hope. So yeah, that's what I had to say.
Appreciate you coming on, Bradley.
Thank you, sir. You have a good rest of the day.
All right, you too. My guy Victor said, man, 76 likes. I just checked. There's closer to 100, but we got over 300 people in here. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button for your boy. Let's get these numbers up. In about 10 minutes, we will have my guy Greg Pinelli come on. We're going to talk about this quarterback thing. And maybe later in the week, we'll get more into this game and some specifics. Talk about the defensive backs. I see people upset about Damodar Lenore, Josh Norman. I think those are kind of be the guys moving forward. We'll see when Ambry Thomas really kind of gets in there. He hasn't been good. We'll get in there and talk about the secondary. All right, but hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Got I hope Mama Crockett ain't in here. Listen, my mom, I got 3 kids. My mom know how I got my kids. My mom know. And I'm gonna tell you this. Manscaped was a big part of that. All right, manscaped.com, promo code Crocky. Go get 20% off right now. All right. Let's go. All right, here we go. Next caller on. My guy Ryan. Ryan, what's good with you, big dog?
Man, Crocky, I just found out we got more in common. My brother is a Dallas Cowboys fan too, man. But anyway, Man, remember I talked to you last week and I said, watch out for Wagner. That's the first thing I talked about was like in the middle, don't let Wagner pick you off, Jimmy. Don't let that be the one. And when that man did that, I said, God dog it, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand what type of like they changed the mojo, man. You know, we were sputtering on third downs again. It's just sad. It is almost like out of all the teams you want to regress on, why you want to pick the Seattle? Why you couldn't do this against the Vikings or do this against Jaguars? Why against Seattle?
Tough.
You know what I'm saying? Our nemesis. You know what I mean? They've been beating the brakes off of us. And I just
I
said,
think I saw something that said
coming.
Russell Wilson is 15-4 against the 49ers, something like that. I mean, it's some crazy number. I think that's including
Beating
playoffs.
the molly-whopping, beating the brakes off us, man. And I just sat there and looked and said, dude, when you go to the 12th man, having an early turnover, having an interception, that gives that opposing team life. Not only the opposing team, the Seattle, like they like this is their Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And they knew what they was going to do to our psyche, you know. And unfortunately, it's like, come on, dudes. Like you said earlier, not saying that Trey Lance would have been the perfect, you know, he will be, you know, having us 4 games above 500 or whatnot. But at least we could have been seeing building blocks building. You know what I mean? But this stuff that we see, we got $25 million in quarterback. We have Josh Norman, who we picked up off the bench. We got people crying about Josh, who is a person who we barely even invest in. But this guy here go get a hall pass over and over and over again. We're gonna come at the rookie, but we could have used that $25 million, cut Jimmy, and we could have brought in some secondary help. So y'all would be crying so much about how bad the secondary is. We could have brought in some D tackles to get better pressure on the quarterbacks. We could use that money to help solidify our weaknesses. But no, here we are, 6-6, man.
Here we are, 6-6. And I think that's the big thing right there that you just said. I see somebody, our guy Les Saw in here. He said Lance ain't gonna do better, and that's the thing. He might not do better, but he's not gonna do worse than what the results have been, which is 66. Maybe a game here and there. Maybe Trey Lance start the whole time. 49ers are 5-7 instead of 6-6, right? Maybe he still beats teams like the Lions, the Eagles, and because Jimmy didn't play well against the Eagles. The Lions, the Eagles, you know, maybe he doesn't beat the Vikings or the Rams. I don't, you know, it's different. I mean, shoot, the 49ers ran 40 times, and that was a big part of the reason why they won that game. So, you know, again, games would look different, but I don't think it would be too much different as far as results as people think. So from that standpoint, I don't think this season has been lived up to the expectations of what Kyle Shanahan had when he said we're going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo as our starter.
And then also, if Lance wasn't doing no better, we would sit and say, oh, he's a rookie, a first-year quarterback. We won't be saying, oh, he's an 8-year starter. You know what I'm saying? Going on, he had a $100 million contract. Like we wouldn't be saying that, though. You know what I mean? At least we have the ability to say, you know, he's learning the game, not someone who's been in the same system for 5 years and still making the same mistakes. You see what I'm saying? So I don't understand when people sit there and try to say that. Like, dude, okay, if Lance make mistakes, we cool with that. At least we get to see some splash plays. We get to see some swagger out there. If everything ain't going right for Jimmy, he like his demeanor changes. You know what I'm saying? I think the team feeds off that. And I think the one of the callers said Trey Lance is looking kind of weird on the sidelines. I think Trey be seeing stuff in the meeting rooms that we don't see. He be seeing people open. He be hearing what Kyle is telling Jimmy what to do and why we running the offense that we're running. And he's probably sitting there like this.
Right.
Let me up.
Yeah. But all right, Ryan, I'm gonna get to the next caller, man. I appreciate you coming on, big dog.
All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Got my guy Armando. He says, let's not forget Kyle passed on Brady. Do we trust him with any quarterback situation? And that was I came on and I kind of touched on that a little bit. Hey, shout out, man. If you guys don't have the hats yet, I got a few hats left. I went through, I mean, there was 36 between hats and beanies. I had 36. I got like, I don't know, 8 of everything combined left. So shout out to y'all who supported Frontline Sports. You know what I'm saying? That's the brand right there. Thinking about coming out with some Frontline Sports red and gold, so it'll be like 49ers edition, dad hats only. All right, those dad hats sold much faster than I thought. All right, but anyways, my guy Armando, let's not forget Kyle passed on Brady. How can we trust him on any quarterback situation? And I touched on that a little bit earlier. And my thing was he has miscalculated the situation around Jimmy Garoppolo. It's always surrounding Jimmy. So he miscalculated, where Tom Brady was as opposed to Jimmy Garoppolo and what Jimmy Garoppolo could be moving forward. And again, in context, I get it and I understand it. I understand his decision, why he did it. 49ers coming off of a Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo coming off a torn ACL, finally was able to get a real offseason. Tom Brady, probably his worst year as a pro. Maybe he's on the downside. I get it, but he miscalculated. Clearly, Tom Brady right now, nobody's throwing more touchdown passes in the NFL. All right. The situation right now, Jimmy Garoppolo, he gives us a better chance to win. That's why we're going to start him. Right now, 49ers are 6-6. I think you kind of miscalculate this situation as well. And I don't think, when I say 6-6, maybe the 49ers are 5-7 with Trey Lance. Maybe they're 4-8. I don't know. But I do know this. Kyle was not expecting to be 6-6, 12 games in, 13 weeks in with Jimmy Garoppolo. That was not what his expectations were. And again, I came on talking about it. I can almost guarantee you, if you said, hey, Kyle, 13 weeks in, as a bye week, after 12 games, you're going to be 6-6. I think he would say, then I might as well go with my rookie. That was not the expectations with Jimmy Garoppolo. As it shouldn't be. Jimmy Garoppolo has played well. You win a lot of games with him. You understand what you got to do. Whatever the case is, I get it. Expectations weren't 6-6. He miscalculated that situation, as he's done with a lot of different things surrounding Jimmy Garoppolo. The big teller should be that you guys feel like for the 49ers to win a game, they have to run the ball 40 times. That should be the thing that y'all look at the most. When it comes to what quarterback you want to play with and stuff like that, you guys feel like to win the game, you have to run the ball 40 times. Y'all feel like you have to take the ball out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hands. Y'all feel that way. Here we go, real quick. My guy Johnny, what's good, Johnny boy?
What's going on, Crockett?
Oh man, I'm chilling, man. I'm good. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm good. Listen, man, you speaking nothing but facts like you usually do, brother. But there's one thing that I gotta say, man. Jimmy, let's be real. We was all on the Kyle train. This 3-game winning streak. Now we all falling off. You know what I'm saying? Because there's one game against Seattle, which we knew Seattle owns us. We already know. But now we over here questioning Kyle. I don't know about questioning Kyle, man. I don't know about all that because it didn't sound like we was all like that. We thought we was going to be Seattle, and here we go to the Super Bowl 2019 and one loss. Yeah, Jimmy played. What you think Jimmy going to play like? This is Jimmy. Every game, even when we do play good, even when we was in the 3-game win streak, we got to run the ball like you were saying, Croc. We got to run the ball. This is we got Kirk Cousins on our side. We saw Kirk Cousins last week. You saw what he did to them. You know what I'm saying? They lost the game, and that's our situation right now. And I hate that we 6-6. I know that Trey Lance is on the bench, but I really trust Kyle. We got to trust Kyle, man. We had to. Let the boys sit because that was the plan. The whole thing was, what was the whole plan? A whole year, let him sit, have that, they were saying it during draft day. Everybody was saying it. Let him have that Mahomes, type of feel to it, And now we over here panicking within the season, But I get you, Crocky. 100% 6-6. Start the boy. I get it. But I think
that's what I'm saying, Johnny. I'm not saying absolutely. Like if things are going according to how they planned, I wouldn't say anything about Trey Lance. And I think most people wouldn't either. I think most people would say, if this team is 8-4, or even if they won that game 7-5, you're not really hearing the Trey Lance thing. But at what point, when you're 6-6 and you've kind of shown your colors on who you are, right, as a team, right? Right now, 49ers, they're a middling team. They're not that good like that. They're going more times than not. The 49ers are going to do things to shoot themselves in the foot. I feel like they have good players, and I feel like they're better than this, but maybe they're not, right? So at what point do you say, yes, the plan was, okay, let's sit them and, all that, but the plan was to sit him because we felt like Jimmy Garoppolo was a more of an 8-4 quarterback or even a 9-3 quarterback after 12 games as opposed to 6-6. See what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, Croc. Absolutely, man. The only thing I'm saying other than that is that, you got Jimmy. I think that we saw it in the Arizona game. Look at the game plan, was it? We ran the kid 100 times.
Right.
So, like you would think that we put the kid, we're going to open up the offense. I don't know. I don't think the kid's ready. We saw how many times he ran it. He ran it 100. We saw him after a whole week of practice. We saw what the offense looked like. And I'm going to be honest with you. We was in the game because of the defense. But that offense didn't look really good when he was in there. Right. He was running for his life. And don't get me wrong, if Jimmy was in there, the way that D-line was, he probably would have got sacked 100 times. I'm not going to lie. But, he didn't look as good. And Crockett, I want to say one thing, man. One thing, I know we're going to get off the Jimmy track, but you always with the cornerbacks, and you on point with the cornerbacks. You need to start drafting on cornerbacks. I'm being dead serious. How did we go into this season with Jason Verrett, knowing that, he had a good year last year, but we knew he didn't stay healthy. Let's talk about Tark, too. He barely stayed healthy. Let's talk about Jimmy Ward. He barely stayed healthy. None of these players, you know what I'm saying? Emmanuel Mosley, he barely does it. A lot of this stuff, the GM, John Lynch ain't getting, I don't know what's going on. They missing on a lot of draft picks. That D4 thing, that messed up us big time because we couldn't sign Buckner, and Ford was horrible. But let's be honest with what the GM is doing, man. What John Lynch is doing, even Kyle's, giving the okay to these things. It's messing us up, man. That D-line ain't the same without Buckner. And, having Ford on the bench.
All right, man. Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to get to the next caller, man. I appreciate you coming on, Johnny Boy. I think you touched on a lot of good stuff, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
All right, man. You have a good one. All right, here we go. We got Jason Aponte. Spicy Aponte. You get two. Are you so spicy right now that you say, I'm not even going to show my face today?
I'm just laid up in bed, bro. I don't know what happened, man. My back is killing me, man. This old age shit is wild, bro.
Wild.
Real quick, just first time, long time, big fan, Croc. Just a quick question for you. How'd Joe Williams do last night?
So what y'all, this is an insight. Joe got my guy Jason Aponte on right now. And Jason says, I gave him a heart. I went on his show and was saying that he liked Joe Williams. Really, it was Javonte Williams. He really liked him, but I was being funny, and I'm like, he said that Joe Williams is better than Raheem Mostert because he said, I'm not Mostert, excuse me. Then Elijah Mitchell. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, you said Williams is better than Mitchell. There we go.
And don't believe me, just watch. He needed to get the touches. You saw what happened last night, man. Like,
he went off.
I'm tired of everybody yelling at me without just understanding what I'm saying, man. I'm not down in Elijah Mitchell. I'm just telling you, Javonte Williams is a baller, man. And it happened last night. Anyway.
I like the way he moves. I like the way he ran the ball. He looked good. He looked good catching the ball at the backfield. Obviously, he had a ton of catches. He looked really good. You're right. He did.
Yeah, man. But real quick, Spicy Aponte did pop up last night. You know what I mean? I had a few drinks right before I went on the post game, and I kind of let it fly a little bit. But that's what I was talking about when we were on the show, Croc, that this was going to be a game where Jimmy had to give more, right? And that's what I meant, right? Like by more, because you knew Russell Wilson, you knew Seattle was going to do what they did, right? Empty the tank, and that's what they did. And you knew that you weren't going to be able to run the ball 40 times. That's what I meant by Jimmy needs to give more. That needed to be a Jimmy Garoppolo game where we don't need you to be perfect. We just need you to be better and just give a little bit more. And that's what I was afraid of the entire time. And you saw it, man. Not seeing underneath linebackers. I mean, is there an EPA grade for that? Is there a PFF grade there for that, man? Because I just don't understand it, man. This is year 4, year 8 in the league. And them underneath linebackers, they John Cena to Jimmy Garoppolo, bro. Like, I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. Like, I know I don't understand the intricacies of playing a quarterback. I'm just a guy yelling into the camera and everything. But that's frustrating as hell, man. It really is. It's almost like every game, count on it. And when you needed a play, obviously you just needed more, and Jimmy couldn't give it. And that's just what it is, man. And again, that has nothing to do with being a clickbaiter or anything like that. Like, use your eyes, man. Just use your eyes, man. Come on.
Well, we're finna use our eyes. We got Greg Pinelli about to come on right now. So we're gonna use our eyes and listen to what he has to say. I appreciate you coming on, Jason.
Yeah, man.
Jason,
Appreciate
you
you,
want to
bro.
come on tomorrow? You want to come on tomorrow?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, for sure.
All right, bro.
All right, that's my dog. That's my dog, Jason. Real quick, my guy Armando says special teams unit is killing us. They definitely aren't helping. Special teams unit is not helping at all. Someone said, Greg, the ultimate Jimmy G lover. Hold on, my bad. So that's something we go get to for sure. Look at this, man. Do y'all get messages like this? Hold on, how do I click out some of this other stuff? I don't know what my wife thinks this is. Hold on, let me pull up this phone. I'm trying to record a show. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see that. Good morning. Can you cash at me $800? Whose wife? Good morning. Can you cash at me $800? Like what? Anyways, man. Shout out to everybody that's in here right now. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. My wife tried to take all my money. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is the San Francisco 49ers morning show. If you're new to this, salute. Hang in there. We got our guy Greg Pinelli coming on. He's our resident quarterback guru, trains quarterbacks all around. NFL guys, Josh Allen, Tyler Bray, all kind of high school, college coaches, college quarterbacks throughout California. He does an amazing job doing that. And he helps put some things into perspective with what we're seeing from the 49ers. All right, so hang in there. We're going to take a brief 30-second break, get our guy Greg Pinelli on, and get to talking about kind of his thoughts on the quarterback situation. He said he's coming in hot. So I want to hear, and I think it's going to be the opposite of my take. So let's get into that. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. Hang in there. While we're going to break, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. All right, welcome back to the San Francisco 49ers morning show, and I am here. It's QB Monday. We got our guy, Greg Pinelli, with us, the QB guru himself, the Jimmy G lover himself, and everybody wants to hear what Greg has to say about the quarterback situation. First, should I give my take, and then you respond, or do you want to come on and give your take?
No, I just want to say, if you have a name like Curly Daddy in the chat, then you definitely have no say in regards to the quarterback play whatsoever. So that's the first thing. But go ahead. You can give
Curly Daddy. You got to change your YouTube name.
Yeah, for sure. But go ahead, Croc.
Okay, so this is my thing. I believe that the 49ers started Jimmy Garoppolo because he gives us the best chance to win. And I still believe to this day that the 49ers have a better chance of winning a game with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback as opposed to Trey Lance. So Kyle Shanahan, I said, I believe that right now the 49ers have a better chance of winning the game with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback than they do with Trey Lance.
No, that's all I wanted to hear you say, because I was just going off some of the tweets that I was seeing yesterday. So I just wanted to hear it one more time. So everybody else in the chat too, before they kill me for rooting for the starting quarterback of the 49ers to go out and win games. That's it.
But hold on.
That's all I want to hear.
But, and there's a but. The only reason why I don't want to say the only reason why he gives you a better chance to play or win games, but you have a rookie quarterback and he's inexperienced and he needs to learn. And you've been a big, supporter of sitting does help. Sitting does help. There are things that benefit from that, and we'll get into that in a second. But my thing is, when Kyle Shanahan went to Jimmy Garoppolo to start as a quarterback, the expectations were not to be a 6-16, 12 games in, 13 weeks in. The expectations were to be a 8-4 team, 9-3 team. You have Jimmy Garoppolo. We can win with him. I think since then, and we kind of all understand right now how the 49ers have to win. And it's like, well, you kind of have to handle Jimmy Garoppolo with kitty gloves. You ideally have to run the ball 40 times. If you don't, the more he throws, the more he's prone to overthrow passes. Now, if it's Trey Lance, people just say, well, he's inaccurate, this and that and the other. But if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not rookie mistakes. I mean, he's consistently overthrowing guys. He has Kyle Juszczyk wide open down the left sideline. It overthrows him when he's butt naked. Nobody's around him. I feel like with Jimmy, it's like you damn near have to take the ball out of his hands. So what are the benefits of going to the playoffs? And right now you're 6-6. You potentially go to playoffs because everybody else in the NFC is bad right now, especially at the bottom. So you potentially have a playoff push, right? But you go to the playoffs with a quarterback who you feel like you have to take the ball out of his hands. A quarterback you feel like you need everything to go right for him to be, able to, carry you to a victory. And this is not the first time we've seen that. We saw that in the Super Bowl run as well. So when I'm factoring all that in and why we started off the season not having Trey Lance as a starter, and I get it. I think right now you're at the point where regardless of what it looks like and how you go about it, the results are kind of similar with what you're getting from each quarterback. It just might look a little different. So from that standpoint, I would go with Trey Lance. I would get him those reps. I would start preparing, more so with what everybody talks about what the Kansas City Chiefs did with Mahomes and Alex Smith. But I think when I look at the way the Baltimore Ravens did with Joe Flacco, who had, Super Bowl MVP, went to Super Bowl, multiple playoff appearances, all that good stuff, and Lamar Jackson, a guy who probably wasn't the most seasoned passer and whatnot. They benched Joe Flacco around this time in that year. Now, again, Lamar was able to reel off a bunch of wins. We saw his inexperience show up in the playoffs, but I thought moving forward, he'd be better for that. And I think we've seen that he is. So that was kind of my thoughts on just the situation right now, but the floor is yours now.
Cool. No, and I think for what it was yesterday, obviously, like when big time games come around, you got to step up, right? That's the bottom line. No matter who it is, and everybody's got to step up. And there was a couple plays like that one to Juszczyk. That one stings. Like straight up, got to be better. Jimmy's.
Hold on, real quick before you keep going. That other throw late, I want to say it was that last drive. That throw to Juszczyk, it was kind of like a back shoulder. He threw it like a way. That was a beautiful throw. Like that was great. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then you had the other stuff. But go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the thing is you're going to get – what you get from Jimmy is you get some good throws that are in tight windows and makes a good pass, and then he'll turn around and go throw a ball over somebody's head, and you're like, what the hell just happened, right? And I think a lot of the times – so he'll throw well with a reset. Like Jimmy throws well – or excuse me, without a reset. Like he'll put his back foot in the ground, or he'll take like a retreat step to gain space and put his foot in the ground and throw the ball. But when he does that, a lot of times he'll throw off his back foot as well, and he'll throw it high, okay? And it's almost like a bailout, if you would. Like when quarterbacks do that, like that second ball or that second pick that he threw, which was a bonehead pick, straight up bonehead pick. Like you threw it into triple coverage. You got like two guys in the same area, two of the Niners guys in the same area, and I think 3 or 4 defenders when his check down was right in front of him. So that was one of those, like, I'm going to throw up a prayer and miss it high on purpose and see what happens type of throws. That was a boneheaded pick. The one before that, who was it? Underneath. I don't even know why I'm drawing a blank. Who's Wagner, right? Was underneath.
Real quick, somebody says Trey isn't ready. What's the difference between Trey not being ready and what we saw from Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday?
I think, what's the difference? I mean, this is the conversation that everybody wants to hear every week. Here's the thing. What people saying, well, Trey could have done this, Trey could have done that. It's all speculation, right? Like if Jimmy does better yesterday, the conversation today isn't the same, right? If Jimmy doesn't throw the 2 picks yesterday, the conversation really isn't going to be the same, but it is the same a lot because he continues to make a lot of the same mistakes, right? The missing high, taking easy shots, like a shot up the sideline. That should have been an easy shot. You threw it high over his head, or it's off his fingertips. Whether he catches it, I mean, if he catches it, nobody's saying a damn word about it. It's a great pass, right? But because it went off his fingertips, and it was high, he didn't. You
can't ask Kyle Juszczyk to do a 360 dive backflip catch.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you throw it and he misses it because it's a high ball. If it's right in his chest, he probably catches the damn thing, right? So like those are those throws. It's like those are got to be the gimme route, especially on a wheel route where it's a pretty easy throw to make, given the fact that Jamal Adams is sitting there 5 yards behind trailing. But then he does like the touchdown to Kittle. He throws that nice layered ball high in the end zone, touchdown on the first. So it's like you get some really good stuff and then you get some really shitty stuff sometimes, right? And that's the bottom line. Like that's what you're going to get with Jimmy. But more times than not, you get some pretty good stuff. And when I say pretty good, I'm not saying it's spectacular, but it's good enough to go win games, right? It's sharp enough sometimes when everything else is working to go win games. And when you don't turn the ball over, it works, right? But then you go turn the ball over, especially against Russell Wilson, and then Russell Wilson gets cranking, the result's going to be what we saw yesterday. So
real quick, hold on. Let me address this real quick. He said, Croc, had they started Trey Lance this week 1, do you think that the 49ers will be worse than 6-6? I would say I would give it could go either way, one game or the other. So I'm not saying you start Trey Lance from the beginning and you're going to be 6-6, or you're going to be 5-7, or you're going to be 7-5, whatever the case is. I'm not saying they'll be better or worse, but what I'm saying is when you're 6-6, that's not the expectations that the 49ers had with starting Jimmy Garoppolo. From that standpoint, I would, I don't know what Trey Lance would have been, but I would say whatever he would be right now, he'd be better for it moving forward than him sitting on the bench. And not him sitting on the bench, because there's, like you said, there's benefit. Real quick, talk to us about the benefits of him sitting.
Of Trey sitting?
Yeah.
I think the benefit to him sitting and learning, which I also did think that at this point, when we talked about it, I did think that Trey would have more package stuff. So I'm kind of surprised that he's not in there doing some type of package things here and there, at least giving him an opportunity to get in, given the fact that, like, first game of the year, Shanahan comes out and starts doing the package stuff with him. Like, I'm honestly kind of shocked that he's not doing that, just to get him out there and just to give the defense a different look. Like, I would have been a fan of him throwing in the package stuff yesterday, just because. Now, given the fact that some of that package stuff, or most of it, is not going to be necessarily pass plays, but it's giving the defense a different look with that zone read ability that he has. But you could obviously pass off of that. But I think just what people got to understand, and I know it's easy for somebody to sit behind the screen and see, or sit behind the TV and look and say, okay, well, this guy's in the NFL. He should be good enough to go play right now. But the game from the NFL, and Croc, you know this very well, the game from the NFL and college is completely different from the fact that defensive coverages are way more intricate in the NFL. They're way more exotic. What their guys are showing is way different. The game happens faster. Processing the plays from post-snap, pre-snap, changing protections. There's way more protections that you got. The playbook is way bigger. All of those things combined into a kid's head that's 22 years old, it's a lot to ask. And then you go throw them in Seattle with the crowd noise and all of that. Who knows what the hell's going to happen, right? It's all speculation at the end of the day. Do I think that Trey Lance is more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo? Absolutely. There's no question, right? And I think that's the thing that everybody wants to see, and that's why everybody's chomping at the bit, because we've seen what Trey Lance has. But the problem is we don't know if that's what you're going to get right now. And the only way to find out is obviously throwing him into the game. They're not going to Shanahan's not going to just throw Trey Lance in the game with it being 24-23 in Seattle, and you're going for a 7-5 record. It's not going to happen.
I don't think that was the time to put Trey Lance in. Like, if somebody would have tweeted me and said, hey, Croc, Jimmy's thrown 2 interceptions, do you go? No, you don't go with, because I don't want to throw Trey Lance into any situation that I haven't put together a game plan for him and that he wasn't prepared with starting reps. I don't want to even throw him into that environment. So you never would have heard me say that. And I definitely would have felt, regardless, Jimmy Garoppolo gives you the best chance to win. Even with the 49ers trailing by a score, whatever the case is, he still gives you the best chance. But moving forward, again, my thing is you're 6-6. This 6-6 was not the expectations. Obviously, you still have a playoff. You still have a potential to be in playoffs. But you look at the remaining schedule, right? You got the Bengals coming up. That's a road game. Then you have Atlanta, you have Tennessee, you have Houston. I feel like those are all very winnable games, even with Cincinnati. Now, I know they got torched last game, but they could play good football. They could turn it on. We saw what they did to the Pittsburgh just last weekend, right? You got Cincinnati, winnable. Atlanta, definitely winnable because they can't protect Matt Ryan for anything. Tennessee, winnable without their big guy, but they are playing solid football. Houston's terrible. LA at the end of the year might not play their starters because they might be locked into the 5th seed. So I think if you are going to get Trey Lance in, I think this is the perfect time to get him in. You know, like the Cincinnati environment's not going to be too crazy. Then you got Atlanta, like they're just not good. Like I feel like this is the perfect time to get him in and start to build that confidence towards next year. And still, you could potentially still make the playoffs.
No, so do you think as far as getting him in, you mean starting the game, or are you talking about getting him in and giving him series here and there? You're starting. Gotcha. And I think that's the hard thing with Shanahan probably is the fact that there is still that playoff chance. Like yesterday sucked because now you left it in the hands of everybody else to win or lose to try and make it to the playoffs, right? Instead of going 7-5, like there was a bunch of teams that lost yesterday and everybody else is 6-6. Like if you win the game yesterday, you're still somewhat controlling everything, given the fact that the Rams are the only other team that would have had a better record, I believe, from a wild card perspective. And then, so it's going to be one of those questions like a toss-up. Well, do we put them in now and think about it as far as, you know, screw the playoffs type thing? Because, again, that's the problem is also is like you can't tank because we don't have the first-round draft pick. And the better Jimmy does, like we've talked about this, the better he does, the better you can get for him in a trade come the offseason, right? And I think that's the ultimate goal is to try and get back. Do I think we're going to get a first rounder for Jimmy? I don't think so. But who the hell knows with the way that things are going as far as trades in the NFL. Look how much equity the Niners gave up for Trey Lance. So I don't know. I don't think Jimmy's going to get a first rounder, not by any means. Unless they go to the playoffs and win the damn Super Bowl. That would probably be the only way they're going to get a first rounder. So
what do you think about this right here? My guy Jedi says, what's the difference between Josh Allen's rookie year and Trey Lance's rookie year? I think Trey's rookie year would have been better than Josh Allen's. This is what I would say before you touch on it. All right. And as you guys know, this is Josh's big brother you guys are talking to right now. All right. So Josh Allen as a rookie went 5-6. So he started 11 games, went 5-6, obviously 52% completion percentage, not the best, 10 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. I would say the difference, and I'm not saying that Trey Lance will be better or worse. I'm not saying any of that. But the difference is Josh Allen didn't have Jimmy Garoppolo ahead of him. That has proven to be able to win games in the NFL and kind of at a consistent level. So I think that's the biggest difference as, you know, throwing a Josh Allen in there and living with his ups and downs and being better for it moving forward as opposed to Trey Lance, who has Jimmy Garoppolo ahead of him, which is why I would have gotten rid of Jimmy Garoppolo to start the season. But go ahead. What are your thoughts on it?
No, I think you're right. One, and I think that one thing that goes against, obviously, in Jimmy in this situation is the Buffalo Bills, when Josh came in, were not nearly as good as what the 49ers are right now, given the team overall, et cetera. Like the Niners were built to win now. The Bills weren't built to win in 2018 when Josh came out.
They did just come off a playoff.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's from an overall team perspective. Yeah. Given what the Niners have, the expectations from the Niners, the Super Bowl, then they get freaking 1,000 injuries the year before, right? Last year, everybody's hurt, and then they come back, and the whole damn team is back, pretty much from that Super Bowl year, given a couple guys, obviously, at receiver and running back, but Mitchell's done well. I think Mitchell's done really well, given the fact that, you know, he's a rookie coming in there. Mostert's not in. Breida's gone, obviously. So Wilson is not really playing. So Mitchell's held it down and held his own back there. So I think that it's what we've talked about with Jimmy is he does well over the middle, right?
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks, he's made some bonehead plays over the middle. And people are figuring it out. Like, it's surprising to me that people haven't figured it out sooner what Jimmy does. Like, Jimmy stays within the hashes, right? And he makes good throws within the hashes. But he also makes damn near all of his mistakes in between the hashes as well, because people have figured out. Like the other day when they did like that robber coverage, right? And it was Harrison Smith rolls down, plays underneath, picks him off, pick, right? Like in the NFL, pro snap, boom, you see him start to roll down into that hole, especially when you keep your eyes at the field. So like just from a quarterback perspective, for those who are at home, like when you take the snap, right, like pre-snap, you're giving your cadence, wide 80, and you use those cadence. Like people use those cadences. It's not just to sound cool on TV or whatever it may be. NFL quarterbacks use those cadences, those long drawn-out cadences and the longer counts or whatever it may be, because they're trying to get the defense to tip their hand, right? So if I use a drawn-out cadence and there's two high safeties and I say wide 80, wide 80, and I don't snap it, maybe we're 1-on-2, and I see the safety start to move, okay, now I know that it could be a post high safety, which is like a one high safety, and that other safety is rolling down into the hole, right? Or going to be that robber position. And that's what happened against the Vikings. Throws the pick. So clearly they did that a lot. They seem to like to roll down Smith a lot against the Vikings, and we didn't get to talk about it last week. Then you got yesterday, you got Bobby Wagner, who's an all-pro linebacker. He's not going to be sitting back there jumping straight to his hole. He knows what he's doing on the field, obviously, and he's going to try and play Jimmy. He's trying to set him up. And yesterday he got Jimmy, and then the next throw, Jimmy misses high with some bailout BS throw, puts his back foot in the ground and sails it when he should have checked it down. So it's like those little things that he does that just drive you up a freaking wall. And we talked about it before. When you get a sexy quarterback in there, Josh, Pat Mahomes, mediocre last night, but Trey Lance, the guys that can throw the ball down the field, Russell Wilson even, guys that can chuck it down the field and make plays way down the field, you forget about the little dumb shit that they do in between. Like the quarterbacks are human. Whether you like to think so or not, some make more mistakes than others. Some are going to miss some throws.
Brady has thrown an interception in 5 straight games, and he threw a pick 6 yesterday.
That's my point, but that's also Tom Brady, so nobody's going to really.
And he also threw for like 400 yards and like 4 touchdowns.
Exactly.
And
that's my point. Yeah. So like if you go throw the dumb little shit underneath, but you do something on the back end that looks pretty damn good, you're going to forget about the stupid stuff underneath, right? If you can't do the other stuff, you can't make the stupid mistakes underneath. Like if your game is throwing it underneath and throwing it within 15 to 20 yards across the middle of the field, you can't make those stupid mistakes. That's just the bottom line, in my opinion. So I would like to see Trey Lance get in there. I really would. I don't know if it's going to be the Packers thing. Do I see Trey Lance starting this week? Probably not. Do I see him starting next week? Probably not. If they get to the point where, it's looking like they're not in playoff contention, I would say that Trey Lance is probably going to start the last couple games, but I don't know.
They're not going to be not in playoff contention because the NFC is just so bad right now. Right. Hey, and like my guy Victor says, man, 185 likes. We got almost 400 people in here. Hit that like button, man. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. But as far as I don't think it's going to get to that point. So my thing is like, when do you rip the Band-Aid off? Because how disastrous of a season would it be if you missed the playoffs with Jimmy Garoppolo starting the whole year and you didn't get Trey Lance any time? And that's potential to do that because, again, I don't think it's all Jimmy Garoppolo's fault that the 49ers is 6-6. Obviously, Trey Lance was responsible for a loss, but it's not all on Jimmy, right? Like, it's not, we talk about the Cardinals game where, you had 2 fumbles. The defense played terrible. Like, it's not all on Jimmy, but at the end of the day, this is the result. So if you do go this whole time and you go whatever, and you miss the playoffs, and Jimmy and you roll with Jimmy this whole year, and you didn't get how disastrous of a season? Or do you think the silver lining is Trey Lance got to sit and learn?
That's the easy way to put it, and I guess it depends on how Trey Lance does next year. If Trey Lance comes out and absolutely kills it next year, then you're like, okay, well, the guy got to sit and develop. If he's okay and he looks like a guy that's starting his first year truly in the NFL and it's just whatever, then I would probably say, yeah, you should have thrown him in there this year and see what we had. But I guess it's something we're gonna have to speak about down the road because I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to think that, you're going to hope, everybody's going to hope, like, what are you going to get every week? Like, Jimmy's going to be better. Jimmy's going to be better. Like, Jimmy's been good, right? Like, we talk about the last couple of weeks. Like, he's been the best as far as efficiency, going back before the Vikings game. They had like 4 straight games where he killed it, right? And he got picked off in the Vikings game, and we ended up winning the game. And then you go into this past week, and you make a couple boneheaded mistakes. And you think he was like 20 for 30. 2 of them were picks, and he goes down the field at the end of the game. There's the pass interference that wasn't called in the end zone.
I can't complain about that, though, because 2019 49ers got – that's why everybody
no
about that.
No doubt.
There was the Fred Warner play in the end zone that looked very similar to that, and I wasn't complaining about the Fred Warner, being aggressive, got there early, whatever. So I just know situations like that, you don't want to put the game in the ref's hands.
That's what I was going to say. If you do that, you put the game in the ref's hands, it's never typically going to end good for the 49ers, as we've seen. It's just bottom line. If he goes down and wins the game, you don't put the game in the ref's hand. Jimmy goes down and wins the game yesterday, drives it down 97 yards. The conversation is probably a little bit different today because, again, he would have done something that made you forget about the stupid mistakes that he made. Now, he still made them, and he still missed some throws that he should have had, but it'll make you forget about it.
I don't think they'll forget, though.
Now it's glaring.
Hold on. You wouldn't forget, because even in the games that have been the recent games, right, the 3-game win streak prior to this loss, I think most people are looking at those games as, their 49ers are winning with Jimmy Garoppolo, but they're not winning because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, most people would say,
right,
like, dude, they got to run 40 times with this guy. So I think there would still be some of that, like, where people are like, dude, he threw multiple interceptions. He missed multiple throws. Like, yeah, cool. He, came down to win the game. That's the only thing that justify having. Like, well, he still won the game. So you can justify it. When you do lose a game like that, even after the 3 wins, where everybody would say, he ain't the reason they win in these games. He's just not losing the game. Like, it's hard to justify when you have a moment like this where it's like, okay, well, you are the star quarterback. We need you to give us a little more. And he struggles to give you that little more. And he's part of the biggest reason why the run game is struggling the way it is, because everybody's loading the box on him. And, the running backs, I bet Elijah Mitchell is like, God damn. Like, if the defense doesn't, blow something and, doesn't, because they, typically they get sealed off, then you have, like, the big run from Elijah Mitchell, and he breaks off some big runs. When that doesn't happen, man, everybody's crowding the box, and they're just like, all right, we're just going to crowd, and it is what it is. And he averages 2 yards a carry or 3 yards a carry or whatever it is. He's running in that Rams game, Elijah Mitchell, early on I tweeted it, and I said, I know he has to be tired of running into a brick wall. And it was 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards. I know that has to be tough. And I think a big part of that is because of who's at quarterback. Real quick, I got my guy, wrong one. Donald Boone says, thankfully we moved up to draft Lance. We'll be screwed at QB with how bad this 2022 draft class is. Crossing fingers, a free agent come this offseason. Yeah, not too high on the quarterback class coming up. There's still a lot of unknown with Trey Lance, right? We don't know if he's going to be better than a Kenny Pickett. We don't know if he's going to be better than any of these other quarterbacks in this class, Matt Corral, any of these other guys coming out, Desmond Ridder. But we do know that he's definitely a higher prospect than those guys. So from that standpoint, I do agree. But again, we don't know how it's going to play out. Hopefully he plays out for the better, that Trey Lance is the better guy. He definitely is the better prospect. Not sure if he's going to be a better quarterback. We'll see. I appreciate the contribution, Donald. But go ahead. I know I had cut you off with something you had to take.
I honestly already forgot.
Okay.
One thing I was thinking about, and it drives me up a wall is, and this isn't even in relation to the quarterback stuff, because it seems like every freaking week, Josh Norman gets cooked. Like, why is Josh Norman? I was listening to the radio, yesterday. I was on my way back from Arizona. I was listening to the radio, and then I rewatched the game when I got home. And literally, Tim Ryan says, here's Josh Norman on the bottom. They're going to go vertical with DK. what the fuck happens? Excuse my language. What happens? Vertical with DK. And so why is Josh Norman playing on an island with DK Metcalf? That makes no sense to me. It's not Josh Norman. And even if Josh Norman was 26 years old, I still wouldn't put him on an island with DK Metcalf. Because it's not even a freaking close. And what is DK, 6'4", 230 pounds, running a 4'3", 240, who can jump out the damn stadium, God forbid. Like if Russell Wilson was on a few of those throws that Russell Wilson missed, like 3 or 4 throws yesterday. So it does happen, right, to the elite quarterbacks of the NFL, where they'll miss some throws. If he doesn't miss a couple of those throws, it's not even a close game. Like literally not even a close game.
Yeah.
Josh Norman playing against DK Metcalf out one-on-one on an island makes zero sense to me. Like I hear it, and part of me just wants to be petty and blame Crocker for it, just because it's easy to blame Crocker for all the DB shit that happens with the Niners. Like you have some type of say on what's going to happen with Josh Norman. It just doesn't.
I should have some say. There would be a lot of things that are done a little different.
That's my like.
At the
I don't know. Like, I mean, I get
position.
it. Like the Niners want to play the 3, and they show the cover 2 look, and then they'll roll it down, and they play like this 3 match or whatever they decide to do. But you putting Josh Norman out there on an island does not make any sense to me whatsoever. I don't get that.
It's the same as here. Okay, here's this is what we'll compare it to. All right, and one guy's making a lot more money than the other. There's no difference between how they have to try to handcuff Josh Norman. It's the same as handcuffing Jimmy Garoppolo. There's a guy that has some clear weaknesses and deficiencies in his game. The only difference is on offense, you can control it. So I don't have to call throws that go to the outside. I don't have to throw all these vertically pushing passes for Jimmy Garoppolo. I can control that. Josh Norman, you can't. You know what I'm saying? But Josh Norman wasn't the plan. Jimmy Garoppolo was. That's the issue. Josh Norman was not the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth plan. The plan was Emmanuel Mosley, Jason Verrett. That was the plan. Verrett goes down. Okay. Dante Johnson came in. And then it's like, damn, okay, I got these 2 rookies. Then you start the rookies. Like, they tried to do everything but play Josh Norman. And they got to the point where it's like, well, damn, we actually have to play Josh Norman. So you got to live. You have to live with his limitations. The only thing that I push back on is at least he gives you opportunities to punch the ball out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't.
I get that.
Yeah, but you can't. So you be defending Jimmy Garoppolo. You defend Jimmy, and he has just as much limitations as Josh Norman and makes a hell of a lot more money.
Right. Here's the thing. First of all, you defend Jimmy. You're the ones defending Jimmy 2 weeks ago. People want to come at me. People want to come at me because I say that I'm rooting for Jimmy to do well. Do I think that Jimmy's the greatest quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely not. I'd rather see a lot of other quarterbacks on the 49ers other than Jimmy. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm rooting against Jimmy Garoppolo just because I want to see Trey Lance go in the game. I'm rooting for Jimmy Garoppolo because I want the Niners to do well, right? That's the only reason. Would I rather see other guys play for the 49ers and do well in that position? Absolutely. Do I think that you can plug and play Trey Lance and he's automatically going to do better at that position right now? I can't say that. That's all speculation. We don't know. I would rather sit and talk about this sexy quarterback wearing the 49ers jersey, making these huge plays and making plays downfield, etc. But that's not the case right now. We're given what we got. Like, we got Jimmy Garoppolo. He does some good things, but he does some shitty things too. And that's all we got to talk about, realistically. Until further notice, that's what we got to talk about. But at the same time, like, I'll root for him, absolutely. I think that we would all be done. Like, if you're sitting there as a 49er fan, in my opinion, if you are sitting as a 49er fan hoping that Jimmy Garoppolo does bad just so you can see Trey Lance sooner, you're an idiot. That's just my opinion. Because the team is still in the playoff race, even with what they've done right now. Do I think they're going to go win a Super Bowl? Probably not, right? But you still want to at least see them do well. Still want to at least have that ability to talk shit to your buddies at home and say, at least we made the playoffs, that type of stuff, right? Or do you want to see the team go win 6 games and that's it? That's why I root for Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not the Jimmy G lover Okay, like Curly in here, Curly in the chat's going off. Oh, here he hates Norman. Here's the difference between Jimmy G and Josh Norman. Yeah, he makes a lot of money, whatever it may be. At least Kyle Shanahan will play within Jimmy's limitations. Okay, he knows what Jimmy does and what he can do, and that's how he plays the game. Putting Josh Norman on an island, even though he's got experience in the NFL, he's got plenty of limitations, right? You're not going to put him man-to-man, or you shouldn't put him man-to-man, because he can't go run with DK Metcalf. So why don't we put a safety over the top? That's what I'm saying.
You can't always put a safety over the top.
I get that, but you can also just flip sides and make Norman go play on the opposite side if you really had to. If you really had to.
I mean,
I get that they don't do that a ton in the NFL.
The more
but
too high
if
you
really
play, you don't have enough numbers in the box for us to run. So at some point, you're going to have to. And he press bails out. His issue sometimes is like, how do you let a guy get on top of you in a press bail? Here's the crazy thing. I've seen them. Yesterday, I saw two instances, right? Okay, we're talking about Josh Norman right now. One, he press bails out, but his cushion is too much. So they run a comeback, easy completion. Another one, he press bails out, but then his cushion is not enough. The guy, DK, gets on top of him. And that was the one where, he's talking stuff into the camera and all that. And it can't, it's like Josh Norman, I don't know. My expectations for Josh Norman, I know he sucks. Everybody in the comments, I'm saying, Josh Norman's that. We know that. He was not the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth option. He wasn't. Right. So that's the least of worries. Everybody wants to be mad at him. Hold on. Best show out here. Appreciate you, my dog Johnny. Sweet potato pie by Patty on me. I'm gonna need that. It's like $3.99. I bought last night. Well, I live in a dry county, so they don't sell alcohol they don't sell alcohol, period, in my county. But I can drive 25 minutes outside of town and they have a liquor store out there. Prices all jacked up. But they don't sell alcohol on Sundays. So the 49ers lost. I was depressed. I was going to go soaking, a few shots, try to feel a little good a little bit. And, porno crocky come out with the wife, but there's no alcohol. So I just ate a sweet potato pie. Shout out to my guy, Johnny, for the contribution.
Frontline Sports facility address here one day, so all the folks can send you a bottle so you can soak after all these
Did you hear that?
Show with the 49ers.
Did you hear that just now beeping? Did you hear that beeping in the background?
No.
Oh, okay. There was beeping going on. It was backing up. That's people. They're dropping off my building right now.
There you go. See, they're ready.
Sir. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think overall, realistically, Croc, Kyle's gonna have to figure it out here pretty quick. Like realistically, because what we've talked about, and it seems repetitive, what you see is what you get with Jimmy. Okay? Nothing has changed, right? We all had this hope that it's like, oh, well, hopefully Jimmy starts throwing the ball down the field. Hopefully Kyle starts opening up the playbook. Kyle hasn't opened the playbook. It's the same shit, right? Like, again, if you went to the number of pass plays, all 30 pass plays that happened yesterday, I bet 25 of them were over the middle. And again, if you're gonna throw it over the middle and that's your game, for Jimmy, you cannot make stupid mistakes like that over the middle. You can't miss high over the middle. That's for damn sure. And where's Jimmy's misses typically? High. So they're gonna have to figure it out pretty damn quick if they want to make a playoff run. And again, you're leaving it in the hands of everybody else. Just like yesterday's game, you're going to leave those in the hands of the referees. It's never going to turn out good for you. So I
have this shot chart real quick. Hold on. Let's get to this. So you called the fans idiot because they're tired of losing with Jimmy. So our guy Trice did not take well to that. He said, don't call people names
because we're tired of losing with Jimmy. So if they win the game yesterday, are you still rooting against Jimmy?
So what Greg was saying, if you're rooting against Jimmy Garoppolo, that's pretty idiotic. Like, you should want your team to win regardless of who's at quarterback. I think there is a frustration that sets in with the 49er fan base where it's just like, just get this guy out of here. My pushback even on that would be, you can be frustrated with him, you can get him out of here, but the results might not be better. So that's why even with going to Trey Lance, I preference it with the fact that the 49ers season has not gone according to plan with how they've won it. And because of that, I would go with the rookie while you're 6-6, get him those meaningful snaps. You may win, you may not, but you have to be willing to know that there will be some ups and downs. I also think that this is the perfect time because I like the upcoming opponents really for the rest of the season for a young Trey Lance. His first start was against the Arizona Cardinals on the road. They're the best team in football right now. And at that time, they had one of the top defenses. And he had J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones rushing them. That's tough. And Buda Baker back there. Like, that's tough for a rookie. That was his first start. All right. I think right now it's more set up for him to have a little bit more success. We'll see how that happens. But I appreciate the contribution. I want to get to this real quick. I want to show you I want to share this passing chart, and you kind of tell me a little bit of what you're seeing. It's for Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, and boom. All right. Are we able to see that? You good with seeing that? So can you see that good?
It's a little bit, it's a little bit small, but I can see it.
You can see that everything, for the most part, outside of, it looks like, and those reds, it must be interceptions. So outside, so 1, 2. So he has two completions outside the hashes. 2. 1 to the left.
Outside the numbers.
Outside the numbers, excuse me. Outside the numbers, he has 2 completions. Is that an ideal way to have to? How difficult does it make it calling plays for Kyle Shanahan when you are limited to that?
It's got to be tough. Got to be tough because you look at Elijah Mitchell, like you said, you make that reference with Elijah Mitchell. Like we talked about it. Jimmy's great over the middle. When he's good, it's really nice to see. He throws a lot of balls on. But what happens with this? Now you got safeties rolling down to the box. Now you got everybody stacking the box because they know that Jimmy's not even going to throw it outside. So the run game becomes harder, right? Because everybody's playing. Now you got 6, 7. You got probably 7 in the box every single play. Probably 8 realistically because they go with, 21 personnel with Juszczyk in there. So you got 8 guys in the box. That puts a lot of pressure on the 49ers run game, the offensive line, for Juszczyk, for Kittle, all of those dudes. It's honestly kind of surprising to me how open guys are. I guess it is props to Shanahan for this on his scheme, but how open guys are across the middle. In my opinion, because if you watch the film, like Jimmy doesn't really throw him anywhere else. He throws it across the middle, and that's what you get with him. So, I mean, the proof's in the pudding right there. Like if I was a defense, I would just continue to play across the middle and force Jimmy to throw it outside. I would play inside leverage every single time and make guys have to try and cross your face until they start throwing out routes. And just in my opinion.
Got a guy right here, LL. He says, all I heard during the draft was how smart Lance was and learns fast. So what happened? Do you think, again, and I think that you can learn fast and be smart, but still have to grow at the NFL level, right? Like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, Lance learns extremely fast. He's sharp. He's all that, and he's able to do those things. But still, he's not used to seeing certain things and at a high level, as opposed to like Mac Jones, right? Who, I think we all agree his processing is really good, right? It's really high level. Mac Jones, when you watch him, and this is where I'll say, like, somebody had asked a question, and I didn't really put it out there on Twitter, but it was like, Mac Jones or Jimmy Garoppolo, who you going with? And I was like, Mac Jones, right? And the guy responding was like, yeah, Mac Jones is cheaper, yada, yada, yada. And it wasn't that I think Mac Jones is cheaper. That's why I would go with him. If everything was equal, I would go with Mac Jones over Jimmy Garoppolo because I don't see Mac Jones miss on what he's seeing, right? Like there was a play, I don't know if you saw Kurt Warner, he drew it up, and he was showing where Jimmy Garoppolo missed it. He was like, I don't.
Yeah, he was baffled.
Yeah, he's baffled, right? He's like, I don't know how you did it. All right. Mac Jones doesn't miss that. Now, maybe there are some limitations with Mac Jones on some of the things that he does well or whatever. The Patriots have done an amazing job of playing to his strengths. Kyle Shanahan, even when he plays at Jimmy Garoppolo's strengths, still has like these glaring weaknesses even within that, right? Like not always accurate. Like you don't get that with Mac Jones. He hits that right now. Trey Lance, he could be as smart, he could be whatever, but still there's a transition. Mac Jones played at Alabama, high level, played against the Clemson, the Ohio States, these good defense. He's seen a lot of different things. I think the transition was just a little easier from a post snap standpoint, because that's where Trey Lance gets in trouble. I don't think it's when Trey Lance is in rhythm, everything looks really good, right?
Right.
Post snap, he's seeing things different than what he saw at the FCS level. Same thing with me. I played at a Division II school, and the way that we called defenses and stuff like that was more simplistic than what I saw or played with in the NFL. When I was in the NFL, I mean, I'm like, God damn, like my head was spinning a little bit. Like, damn, okay, I got to do but if fire's on 3, okay, but cover 3, okay, but then if it's this coverage, okay, but then I play this radio coverage. Like, I mean, like, there's so much, right? And it's like, dang, this is different. I didn't learn it. D. Milliner walked in and he's like, oh yeah, blah blah. Okay, yeah, same thing, but we just called this. It's like, I'm like, damn, like y'all ran an NFL defense at Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like from the standpoint of just the verbiage, how much they change up, the differences, all that, as opposed to what I faced at the Division II level. So when you have Trey Lance at the 1AA level, and I do think he was pro ready in the sense of some of the things that go into being a quarterback coming in, knowing how to command the huddle, calling plays in the huddle, the verbiage of it. I think we know that's a big part of it, right? Like guys coming in, like having to learn that aspect of it. He was ready for that. Get into the line of scrimmage. They talked about him, understanding line adjustments and how to flip plays, and he was responsible for those things. He knew that. But even then, there's a difference between knowing that at the FCS level, the 1AA level, where what you're seeing, yes, you know how to do those things, but still not as challenging facing those defenses as it is in the NFL. And I think those have been some of the things that he's had to learn. So you watch Trey Lance and fast learner, all that. Kyle Shanahan said he knows the playbook, he knows everything. But when you're seeing it in fast motion and you don't have that post-snap stuff down just yet, where you would ideally like him, that's when he gets in trouble. In rhythm, if we're talking about Trey Lance always playing in rhythm, let's say he played in rhythm 90% of the time, he'd be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Like, it looks beautiful when he's in rhythm.
Right.
It looks beautiful. Whether the throws he makes, the pace that he throws with the ball, his ability to make plays off script, be able to throw the ball, him being able to use his legs, it looks great when he's in rhythm. But when he's not in rhythm, throwing, like when whatever he thought he was seeing pre-snap doesn't match what he's seeing post-snap, there's the hitches, there's the overthrows, there's the just being a little confused. He has to definitely get that part down. So I know I kind of went on a rant there, but Trey Lance, I do think he's smart. I do think he's a fast learner, but you still got to see that. You got to see that NFL game. The issue is, how do you get him that experience? That's the question.
Right. And I think that on the flip side there, you think about Trey Lance playing in rhythm, right? He's good in rhythm. Jimmy's usually pretty good in rhythm. But when Trey Lance is not good in rhythm, and Jimmy's not much better when he's not in rhythm, that's the conversation. It's like, well, Trey Lance could do the same shit that Jimmy's doing when he's not in rhythm, right? And I think Kyle would tell you that
Jimmy. I think Kyle would tell you that Jimmy is in rhythm. He's able to throw in rhythm more than Trey Lance. So
and I think, like you're saying, and to go on top of that is because he sees the post snap reads a little bit easier and has an idea of where he wants to go with the ball sooner, versus a kid that hasn't necessarily seen those exotic coverages or post-snap adjustments from a defensive perspective as much as Jimmy. But yeah, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. I think that it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks, because I really do want to see Trey Lance in the game. Because at this point, yes, it's the playoff stuff, and we're still chasing down the playoff spot. But I would really like to see him sprinkle in Trey Lance. And I don't want to see the stupid zone read all the time. Like, give him a series or so. Give him a couple plays where you throw him in there. Just do it out of the shotgun. Maybe you go RPO and let him throw the ball. Or maybe you're just play action, let him throw the ball. And give him that look of that maybe some deception that Trey Lance might pull it, but really he's just dropping back to throw the ball. Or some sprint out stuff just to get him that feel, get him loose. God forbid, a couple games from now, like I think there is some winnable games, but like the Texans, like that's the first one that sticks out. Like, why the hell wouldn't you start Trey Lance against the Texans? Just out the fact that I feel like Eric Crocker could go in there against the Texans and probably do the damn thing with the 49ers, but I don't know. That might be pushing it, but I don't know.
All right, man. We went a little long today, man. That's gonna do it. I appreciate everybody that came in. Greg, I appreciate you coming in. Are there any closing? Do you have a closing argument to defend yourself for people that call you a Jimmy G lover?
I'm a 49ers fan first. That's what I am. I want to see the 49ers quarterbacks do well, no matter who it is. That's the thing at the end of the day. So to say that I'm so stuck on Jimmy, it's not really the case. At the same time, people also got to understand that I respectfully, I train quarterbacks for a living. So I know how hard it is actually to make things happen. You know, like off the podcast, Greg, QB Mondays, like it is. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. And I know there's a lot of pressure on these guys. So that's the first thing. But being in year 4, year 5 or whatever of him, was it year 4 of him starting? Like, yeah, those mistakes, they got to go. At some point or another, they got to go. And if you can't change it, then you got to move on to the next quarterback. But as far as defending myself, I'm not going to defend myself for rooting for a 49ers quarterback. That's for damn sure. Am I a Jimmy G lover? I want to see him do well. But I would rather see somebody else in there that's going to get it done and be a little bit more sexy, if you would, being able to throw the ball downfield and making those throws to the outside, comebacks, things like just a lot of the gimme routes that we don't get, like comebacks. People are going to play soft coverage. They're going to do zone blitz, whatever it may be. Those routes,
12-yard
comebacks. Comebacks, like throw those. Like those are the gimme routes. Those are the 3rd and 8 routes that are just like money, right? Or the 1st and 10 routes that are money. You saw Russell Wilson doing that stuff against the Niners yesterday. Like those are the things that I want to see, and we're not going to see from Jimmy. So I expect to see those things next year whenever Trey Lance gets in. But in the meantime, like if we're rolling with Jimmy, then I'm going to hope he does well. If he doesn't, then it's got to be on to the next one. That's just the bottom line.
All right, man. Greg, I appreciate you coming on, big dog.
Yep. No, I appreciate you, Croc.
All right, y'all. I'm going to go to break real quick, 30-second quick break, and I'll be right back with y'all. Make sure you take this time. There's 360 of y'all in here. Take this time, click the chat down, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll be right back. All right, man. I hope you guys appreciated QB Monday with my guy, Greg Pinelli. For those of you who probably questioning, like, where does he come from? Greg, he was my quarterback, junior college, Modesto Junior College. You see the Pirates chair right here. All right, MJC alums. That was my guy. That was my quarterback. He went off to play at Eastern Washington. Also played at another school as well. Did his thing. He's been around quarterbacks. When he talks about him training quarterbacks for a living, he's saying that modestly. He's making a good living training quarterbacks, does an awesome job doing that, understands the position and everything that goes into it. So that's why I always love just kind of hearing a different perspective just on the handling of this situation. Maybe if something that is different than mine or my opinion. And I try to bring that to y'all so we have kind of the best of that. I think eventually we got to try to get JT O'Sullivan on there. JT O'Sullivan, we follow each other. He responds when I message him and stuff. Try to get JT on with Greg and then kind of get his thoughts on the situation with the 49ers. Tough situation. I didn't want to come in today and talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously we were hoping the 49ers won and we can continue with that whole thing and how things are going and me kind of put out the flames on any thoughts of Trey Lance. But I think at this point, especially with where I'm at right now, when I look at this 49ers team and I see how they lose and kind of all right, what's the trade-off here? What are we building towards? What are we supposed to be? What was the thoughts going into starting Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't think it was 6-6. And yes, you are a playoff team right now because the rest of the NFC is whack, but you're not a playoff team because you're just getting this awesome quarterback play from a guy who you thought would have you 9-3 at this point, 8-4 at this point. Definitely wasn't expecting 6-6. So I like the schedule moving forward. I think that favors playing a guy like Trey Lance. And even then, you might have a loss here and there, but I thought that was a good opportunity to get a guy like Trey Lance in there, get that experience, build his confidence, win games, win some of those games, beat a team like Houston. I thought there were some opportunities for that, but we'll see how it all plays out. I really appreciate everybody that's tuned in to the show today. Everybody contributed. I had a bunch of people on early on to give their thoughts. Love talking to the fans and feeling the posts and hearing how you guys feel about all this. If you were on Twitter, come over to YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. Manscaped. It is Manscape Monday. It's Manscape Monday. So you know what that is. Get right. Stop walking around looking crazy. Go get sexy for your lady. All the Manscaped products, they got the Performance Pack 4.0 right now. 20% off when you use a promo code Crocky. All right. Don't wait. Don't wait. Holiday season coming around. Hey, maybe the wife wants to, surprise you. Tell her, get you a gift of Manscaped, the new Performance Pack 4.0. All that good stuff. All right. I see somebody say, Modesto JC. No shit. I lived in Oakdale, played tennis at JC. All that. Yep. We went to Modesto Junior College, myself, Greg Pinelli. Yes, sir. That was my guy. That was my quarterback. I told a hell of people about the podcast already. I appreciate that, man. Salute. I appreciate that. But again, man, I appreciate everybody that's in here. I am going to the 49ers versus Rams game. 49ers versus Rams, I'm going. So, knowing that, we got to get together. All right, so I don't know how many of y'all going to be in LA. I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I know my guy. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to tell y'all what to do yet because usually he'll pay me for something if y'all get the tickets. But they're definitely going to have the, what does John Chapman call it? Invasion. Nope, not the invasion, though. John Chapman has his own thing. It's the Rush thing on the road. So it's this whole road party thing. All 49er fans, it was dope. I went to it in Philadelphia. All type of folks came through. That was love. So if y'all going to the LA game against the Rams, we doing that. 49ers Rush. That's it right there. With my guy, John Chapman. I'm going to be there. Y'all should be there. That's some time down the road, but maybe if y'all got to plan some, traveling stuff, start getting ready for that. There will be new podcasts hitting this. Be on the lookout this week for Niners Talk with Jasper and Jamal. That'll be a new podcast to this channel and to the network. Also, there'll be a soccer show coming up, an Alabama football show coming up. So this platform will grow, and it won't be just 49ers, but I appreciate everybody that's contributed to everything that I'm doing. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I respect all y'all opinions. And I'll see y'all right back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. Hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. And I'm out. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Wagner. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.